Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for the, 2 or 3 people that actually follow us religiously.
No, that's not true. We have like 47 last week.
47. So minus maybe about 42. Who knows? But thanks again for anybody that listens or watches us. This is Flying High with the Birds, Philadelphia Eagles Talk podcast with me today, and who happened to do a great job controlling the narrative on this show last week. Will Seal the Deal Sealy. How are you, Will?
What's going on, guys? I think I realize why we're starting to get so many listeners. It's because Armin is listening 50 times a week.
Listen, I got to critique myself. Also with us, the podcast chaplain, the one and only Jimmy Vellucci. This team needed a chaplain for this game last week. Jim, what's up?
What's up, guys? How are you?
And last but not least, and every single time that I go through a game with this football team where I want to pull out all my hair, this guy gets introduced last. The Armenian Hammer, Vahe.
Come back, Armin. We missed you last week.
Well, let me ask you something, Vahe. What kind of hammer are you ready to throw down? A soft mallet hammer, or are you going all out with the anvil?
I don't know, man. Gannon back on them. He's like unbelievable. You know, obviously everybody's keep talking about the same thing, 3rd and 30, but it's unbelievable. He's so stubborn. He doesn't want to change anything. And what probably that's going to be one of the biggest problems come the playoffs, you know. And we can discuss it even more, but I think my focus is on the defense.
Yeah, I think this game it is. Go ahead, Jim.
You know what's funny about that 3rd and 30 play? That was Sirianni's guy in Indianapolis, T.Y. Hilton, who made that play. That was his guy, the offensive coordinator there. And
Interesting.
He's kind of tight with him still to this day. And you know, it was kind of funny how it was him who made the play.
I agree 100%. As disgusted as I was watching that game, especially the end of the game, it didn't bother me as much overall, because seriously, if the Eagles beat New Orleans this week, which they are fully expected to do, this game means absolutely nothing. And I don't know which one it was, Jimmy or Will. One of you guys kept saying that it's really difficult to beat a team 3 times in one season.
Yeah, yep. That's what I kept saying yesterday.
Yeah,
Jimmy.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm like, if that's their loss, like they even have more incentive now to beat them if they play them in the division round, the playoffs, and it's going to be a home game. It's going to be crazy. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday. Like, how great would that be? Dallas coming to Philly in the divisional round, and the Eagles have even more the incentive to beat them now.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think we're going to have any trouble if they have to come into Philly for us to beat them. I think it'll be a much, much easier game for us. We're not going to turn the ball over 4 times in a game. And I know we want to get on Gannon a lot, and I do think he really needs to learn how to make adjustments if he wants to be like, you know, a successful defensive coordinator in this league. But a lot of this game, I mean, it seemed like we were turning the ball over on our own side of the field, and that's what led Dallas to a lot of points. And if you just take away the turnovers, I mean, that game it ends completely different.
Yeah, 4 turnovers led to 4 great field positions and 4 scores. That's what it basically came out to. And you know, it's funny, out of those 4 turnovers, there were 2 picks. And I think obviously the 2 picks were on contested catches. But if any other receiver besides Watkins were there, in my opinion, the balls wouldn't have been intercepted. They've either would have been caught by an Eagle or it would have been knocked down and incomplete. And if you look at the 2 fumbles, actually the Eagles could have, they should have only had 1 lost fumble, because Driscoll actually had the 1 fumble that Sanders had, and he absolutely dropped it. So when you look at it, the Eagles should have only had 1 turnover in that game, but the 4 turnovers is what actually did them in.
And they were still in the game to the very end. I mean, how
Yeah.
many times do you turn the ball over 4 times and you're still in the game to the last seconds?
Yeah, Dallas's defense is in shambles. I mean, this second half of the season, they've only had 1 sack in the last 3 games, and their secondary is just letting up yards
Yeah.
against basically anyone.
They've allowed 30
The
plus
Eagles, they
points.
never punted, right? They never
No.
punted in that
No.
game.
No,
Not a single punt. I mean, can you imagine Minshew basically has a perfect game if it wasn't for Quez Watkins not either fighting through the catch or even being a good enough receiver to just, bat the ball down. Like a lot of good receivers, if they know it could get picked off, they play defense. You turn into a corner and defend the ball. I mean, that's just.
I think
I think Minshew did, more than enough to win that game, and he's got to be the best backup quarterback in the whole league.
no doubt.
one thing that they were saying that it was the fumble with Boston Scott was lack of practice because the difference in height with Sanders and him, and he doesn't have enough experience with Scott, so that's why the handoff was at the chest high instead of being at in the middle, and that's why it was the
I mean, it was still between his arms. I mean, he put it right in between his arms. You gotta, as a running back, you gotta have your arms open.
No, I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying that probably maybe lack of practice.
Yeah,
I guess,
I
but
think
this is the NFL. Like, come on, you shouldn't be fumbling handoffs.
Okay, I mean, same thing with Sanders, right? He's going for his contract year, and then he fumbles the ball in the 20-yard line. It's unacceptable.
I'd rather see somebody fumble the ball that way than a missed handoff. Like that's so basic.
Oh.
well, I'm sorry, guys, but I'm defending Sanders. He's had a phenomenal year, over 1,000 yards rushing, 11 touchdowns. He has 2 fumbles and really 2 lost fumbles this year, and in the last 2 games. And really, the one against the Bears, that was a screen pass that was over his head that he brought in for a second, and then he got hit and he fumbled. And I guess the one the other day, I guess definitely is all on him. But as soon as he got the ball, there were 3 Cowboys all around him. So I know he should have held on to the ball, but he really had nowhere to go. But you take away those 2 plays, he's had a great year. And you could tell that he was really down. And, he kept saying he let the team down and all. This ain't going to destroy his career. I think if anything, he's going to come back strong, and he's going to be determined to show that, you know what, I am the guy. And yes, he is playing for a contract next year, whether it's with this team or somebody else.
No, I agree. I expect him to have a big games come Sunday. I agree 100%.
I agree. Now, as far as turnovers is concerned, and this is courtesy of Reuben Frank from the Eagle Eye podcast, who did an incredible podcast, him and Dave Zangara, right after the game. And this is per Reuben. In their 13 wins, the Eagles are 19 plus 19 in the turnover department, and their 2 losses are -6. So basically, it's turnovers that have done them in these games, and that's where they have to protect the ball, throw the ball, make sure the guy, and everybody's saying if Hurts was in there, he would have completed the passes, which I'm sure he would have. But the bottom line was Hurts does not play defense. The bigger problem was, in my opinion, and any team, in my opinion, that has decent pass blocking with a quarterback that does a really good 3-step drop and 3 very good wide receivers, especially a good inside receiver, and also with our slot corner being hurt, the Eagles are susceptible to that. And I think that's what did them in. CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott.
And losing Maddox was big too. That hurt them.
Yeah. And let's talk about the injuries real quick. I mean, Maddox is out indefinitely, they said today. Indefinitely, they don't know. Johnson has a torn, what is it? Abdominal muscle. I'm sure he's probably out for the rest of the regular season, but knowing him, he'll do everything he can to play in the playoffs. And Davis is out with a concussion, so he may not be ready to play for the rest of until the playoffs. But on the good side, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson I think is coming back this week, and there's talk that maybe he'll take the slot position, and they'll keep Watkins and Blankenship as the safeties, correct?
Mhm.
That's what I
Yeah,
heard.
That's what they're saying. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, Vahe, let me ask you a question. When your son Gary was on here 2 weeks ago, let me get this straight. Didn't he say that he's not really an MD? He's really going more for he's psychiatrist with the head, right?
Well, they are MDs.
Oh, he's an
the-
MD, but basically for
Psych-
head, like like
Psychiatry. Yeah.
psychiatry. Let me tell you something. Hosea Scott definitely needs his services. What the hell was he thinking on that play? I watched that play 3 or 4 different times. The angle he took on that play was inexcusable. And I know I heard all this talk on sports radio that Darius Slay threw his ass under the bus on Twitter, which he shouldn't have done because he is a team captain. He should be more responsible than that. But you have no right letting a guy like that get behind you. And you can't expect your cover corner to guard a guy all the way down the field, 70 yards down the field. So that was a horrible, horrible piece of
Well, he explained that basically it was caught off guard. They said that it was a hurry up play, and he was caught off guard, and that's why he couldn't.
well, it
make
was
up.
the angle that he took. The bigger thing was the angle that he took, because as soon as he started running, he did not anticipate correctly where the guy was going to be. He realized right away that that receiver was going to beat him to the ball, and that's really where the problem was. So Charlie Johnson would not have allowed that to happen. He would have been behind that guy. So there's a play where that turned the whole game around, turned the entire game around, and they would have had the punt.
But the same token, the thing is, it was a scheme too, right? And that's what people keep talking about Jonathan Gannon. He has a zone defense set up, and if everybody's playing, well, it looks really good. But he doesn't know how to adjust it to make it a man coverage. And they were saying that, sometimes you're required to play a man coverage and rely on your, corners to make the play. So I don't know. I'm not really an expert. I'm just listening to what people are saying, and some of it. You're right. I mean, Scott was, he was caught off guard. But the same token, Gannon didn't make any adjustment to his scheme either.
Yeah, he didn't. But it was I don't know. I kind of thought there was nothing wrong with the scheme that he played in that entire series, because he played it great. I think
Dak Prescott has like a career game.
He
He looked
played
like
really
the
good.
MVP of the league last
Well, I got to
Sunday.
tell you, I do give him
Last
credit.
Saturday.
I give
All
him
he
credit.
does is 5-yard passes.
Yeah, but I will say this. If the Eagles actually come back and win that game, it's Prescott's fault that they would have lost that game. Because the first play after the what was it, the pick? Or after the fumble, he runs all the way down the sideline with a little over 2 minutes left, runs out of bounds with his hand up in the air like this is it, which is stupid, because he could have taken like another 35 seconds off the clock by staying in bounds. That was a typical Donovan McNabb stupid play where he gives himself the credit. So, but
he did that last year against the 49ers in the playoffs. Remember when he ran right up the middle and the time ran out?
Yeah,
He ran right up the middle of the field, and
I also think that part of that is coaching, Jimmy.
Yeah,
I think coaching has
without
a lot to do with that. So I don't know, but I still have a really good feeling about this team. All the things that they've accomplished. First time in history, they have 2,000-yard receivers. They had 6 sacks again. What was it, Will, for the 4th game in a row?
Yep, 4th straight game.
They never did that before. They got 61 sacks on the year, and 62 is the record, which they're easily going to beat. They've piling up so many different awards, and I think Brandon Graham only needs a half a sack to have 10, and that would mean it would be the first time in not only Eagles history but NFL history that any team has ever had 4 guys with 10 sacks. Some of that, I know, Vahe, you're really against Gannon here, but some of that has to be the product of coaching also.
No, he has a good system. There's no question. And he has a tremendous amount of players playing. But the thing is that he doesn't know how to adjust to the game situation. You're talking about all those stats, right? Again, with all those stats, they still Prescott still had a career day. So what does it tell you? That means they sack him the first down, second down, and on the third down he gets a first down, right? Or he gets a touchdown. So what does it mean? You can have a 10 sacks, and if they still lose the game, you're focusing on the sacks or you're focusing on the score. So
True.
I don't take that. I mean, it is what it is, right? But the thing is that he has a plan, and most of the time it works. But obviously, with an elite quarterback, and this is a trend too, it's not working. And people are looking at it for the playoffs. Playoffs, you're going to have San Fran, you're going to have Dak again, you're going to have a very good quarterback. Or in the Super Bowl, you're going to have maybe Mahomes or whatever. And they're going to shred you apart, right? So the fact that basically that's going to happen because he doesn't know how to adjust his defense, it doesn't mean anything whether you have like a 500 sacks, right? You lose the Super Bowl and say, oh, well, we had 500 sacks. What does it mean? It doesn't mean shit.
Well,
And that's what happened with Dak Prescott. You're right. They sacked him, right? Time and time again. But, he had a career day. So what does it tell you?
you're laying the anvil down today. That's not the
Well, I'm pissed off because the thing is that they played good enough to beat that team, and
Yeah.
I really don't like Dallas at all. I mean, they're so arrogant. They think they're the shit. They're nothing, right? And that's because our defense didn't. Gannon wasn't. He didn't adjust the defense to basically take away CD Lamb or all those completions.
You'll get your revenge in the playoffs, Vahe. They'll get them.
Well, I hope
They-
so, but
they-
but he has to adjust though. He has to adjust.
You got to give Scott some help. I mean, he was on CD Lamb for most of the game, and CD Lamb was just having a career day over
he had a
100
career
yards every play.
He's a good slot receiver. But then again, how successful would he have been if Maddox was in there?
Right. That's right. Him going out was a big loss to them.
Yeah.
At least Gardner Johnson will be back Sunday, they're saying. Where he can
Well,
slot.
I don't
Wow.
know if that's confirmed yet. They normally make that announcement on Wednesday.
It
but I
sounds
know-
like it. I don't think it sounds like he's ready to go.
And hopefully they're saying that he's every bit as good a slot corner as Maddox is. So that would be huge.
Yeah,
That,
he's
that
not
was
going to
that was the position he was playing for the Saints. They said.
He
Yeah,
played
he's not-
both. Yeah,
He
he
he's not going to
played
miss
both.
this Saints game. This is his revenge game.
Yeah, and he should be good to go, So this really is a blessing in disguise, hopefully to have him back. And, Watkins, again, I looked at him pretty closely. All in all, he played a pretty steady game. He's a good tackler. He hits hard. And I think he's getting better, and that's what the team needs. So you have him and Blankenship, who, the Eagles really didn't expect much of anything from at this point, at the beginning of the season. And now they look like they could be settled in as the, well, no, I'm forgetting about Epps. I keep forgetting about Epps, but the Hosea Scott's definitely going to be coming off the bench, and he'll only play in occasional nickel situations, I believe. So I just want to throw a quick shout out to somebody that apparently listens every week and has sent us some emails, and I'm not going to give you his last name. Johnny G from, is it CVS? Because I know he works, Vahe, with your
My sister-in-law,
sister-in-law. Is it CVS or Rite Aid?
CVS in Flowertown.
Yeah. Oh, Flowertown. There you go. Quick shout out to Johnny G. I told you we'd give you 2 seconds of fame, and hopefully we may have a special guest on next week. It will be a female, Johnny G. I think you know who that is. And we're going to ask her next week if she wants to come on, and she knows a lot of shit on the Eagles. Let me tell you something. He doesn't mind laying a hammer down like you, Vahe. So I just wanted to let you know.
No, I
that.
mean the thing is that they played good enough to win the game.
Yeah, they did. But
If it was a blowout, this is fine. It is what it is, right? But
right.
Minshew, he played his hearts out for
He did.
to win that game.
He did, but honestly, he had a couple of blips. I mean, the first time they went all the way down the field, they ended up having to kick a field goal. But on third down, he had Devontae Smith wide open in the end zone in the middle of the field. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was. I mean, there was nobody within 5 yards of him in the middle of the end zone, back deep, and he didn't. He threw it to the side. But all in all, I mean, put it this way: for a guy that hasn't played all year, I mean, I could imagine what he's going to be like with a really good football. If he was with this team and he was playing every week with this line, I think he'd be pretty darn good, and that's not taking anything away from Jalen Hurts. I just think that, it just goes to show you how good the offensive line is on this team. But I will say this, we have two very, very good quarterbacks. And one, in my opinion, is the MVP of this league still.
It's so funny. So, I mean, most of the game, the Eagles were ahead, right? And they were dominating. They could have easily won the game, right? And yet, next day, you watch the shows, everybody's saying, oh, Dallas is back. Dallas is like, guys, did you guys watch the game? It wasn't those 4 turnovers, right? Dallas not going to win the game. Even the last turnover, So suddenly, like the way they sounded, it was a complete domination, and it wasn't the case. It was just basically bad luck and stupidity from our end, just to let them win the game. It wasn't that what they did; it's what we did.
4 turnovers.
I mean, just like Quez Watkins. I don't know what's wrong with him, right? I'm surprised he's still playing.
He played 51 snaps, or 70% of the offensive plays. He had. Now, I might be wrong, but from what I saw, it was the 3rd most plays on offense. I don't know if that's correct or not, but that's like, why? Why is he in there all the time? Is Zach Pascal not as good? I don't understand. I mean, I would always think that your best weapon as a slot receiver is a body, a guy that's a good possession receiver in the middle of the field. And I just don't know what Watkins' position on this team is right now, but he just don't fight for the ball. He's the worst 50-50 ball receiver that I would ever want to throw to.
He's so lucky because we got AJ Brown and we got Devontae Smith, and nobody talks about him. That's why he's still on the team. Otherwise, if those other wide receivers weren't that good, everybody's going to be focusing on him. But because the other 2 guys are so good, that everybody forgets about him.
At least now we're complaining about our 3rd receiver instead of like our star receivers, Jalen Reagor, or just an absolute bum.
Right, but our 3rd receiver is the one that kind of, I'm not going to say cost us the game, but put it this way. Let me ask you guys something. The last one, the second one, don't you think he should have had the ball? I mean, it was originally in his hands, and he just allowed the other guy to just completely take it away from him by the time they went to the ground.
I said, watching the game, they got to get him in the weight room. And then I said, why would he just bat that ball down? He could play defense.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what I was saying when I was watching the game.
Well, let me pose this question to you. We're all talking about how bad this loss is. Would you have rather see them beat Dallas and lose to New Orleans, or lose to Dallas and beat New Orleans?
Probably lose to Dallas and beat New Orleans. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter. I just want to be the 1st seed and get a bye. This loss, I mean, it sucks because it was Dallas, but if anything, I feel better about playing Dallas in the playoffs, knowing that we turned the ball over 4 times with a backup quarterback, and we still should have won the game. I don't think there's any team besides San Fran that's going to give the Eagles any trouble to get to the Super Bowl. And I feel like it's just obvious to me now. I mean, there's nobody in the NFC that's any good besides the 49ers. So as long as we win this game this week, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's have a quick commercial, then we'll go to next week's game. Before I read this, Johnny G, whose name I keep bringing up, he said, my wife always says, why do you read the script for the advertisement? You should know it by heart. No, I don't. No, not by a long shot. Is your kitchen or bathroom outdated or in serious need of repair? Since 1987, we at Kitchen World offer the latest in custom, semi-custom, and even stock cabinetry. Our designers offer the absolute best in custom design, right down to the exquisite molding details. That's Kitchen World, with showrooms in Philadelphia, Bucks, and Montgomery counties. Call Burton to set up an appointment at 267-228-9875, or check us out at kitchen-worldinc.com. Bahe.
Yes, sir.
What is the line telling you about this week's game?
The line is 7. It's telling me that Jalen Hurts coming back to play. And because initially I think it was like 4.5, and I was kind of surprised that the line was so low, and now it's 7. It was 6.5, and now it's 7. So people, they think that Jalen's going to play this game, and I think they're going to. Obviously, I think they're going to win because what's it, 6-9 or something? 6-9, right? Saints, yeah, 6-9.
Yeah,
That their
You're right.
record,
and they won 2 in a row though, and they have an outside shot at winning the South.
Yeah, but they're
Outside
coming.
shot.
Yeah, but don't they usually do bad in the cold weather? Or that was what was it? That was Tampa, like a while
That
ago,
was
right?
Yeah, but they beat someone in the cold weather Sunday.
Oh yeah, yeah. They I think they beat Cleveland, right?
Yeah,
Didn't they beat?
yeah, and it was cold. out
Yeah,
there. So,
but
they-
no, I think we're much better than that, and so I think that's going to be a win. There's no question. I mean, I'm sure that defense very
Yeah.
pissed off, and they're going to come in and then
I think it's going to be a big win. I think they're going to blow them away, to be honest.
so do I.
I think they're going to blow them away. I think Hurts will be back. They're going to be fired up, and yeah, they're going to
I
handle
mean,
business.
going back to the wide receiver, Devontae Smith, man, that kid is unbelievable. Did you
Unreal.
see those couple of catches with his like toes right on the edge? He's like unbelievable. He's gonna be really, really superstar.
I
Is
think
there
he's-
any chance, like, is anybody else with me that thinks Smith is better than AJ Brown?
I'm with you. Well, we were talking about this yesterday, you and I, dude. I agree with you.
I'm telling you, man. Like,
He's
when
amazing. He's amazing. Those catches. I mean, I thought he was out, and
Yeah, so
it's
did
like
I.
right on the edge. It's like
Yeah.
unbelievable.
And I'll tell you how he takes hits too. And he bounces right back up and throws that arm out for first down. Tough.
So
Good
he's
blocker.
like small in stature, but he's a tough dude. Like
Mhm.
he's just a football player. Like he's not afraid of anybody.
Yeah, he's got a lot of heart, a lot of character.
But I think they
football
need
player.
AJ to take the pressure off, Devontae, because if AJ is not there, all the focus is going to be on Smith, and then he's not going to be able to do the things that he's doing right now. So
I think there's a chance he could. I mean, think about this, Vahe. Last year, he almost had 1,000 yards, and Hurts was not nearly the quarterback that he is this year.
And he was a rookie last year,
Yeah,
too.
and he was-
Yeah.
Like, he just has big catch after big catch, week after week.
yeah,
It's amazing when you
Scary.
take
It's
Hurts.
scary.
Yeah, like I said last week or 2 weeks ago with Hurts and Smith and Brown, you got 24, 24, 25.
and Goddard too.
Yeah,
Goddard's what, about 26, I think?
About that.
Yeah.
Like I was texting you guys the other day. I mean, I think for in this draft picks, I think for the first one, they're gonna go for a right tackle because obviously, Lane Johnson's getting old and he's getting hurt. And I think for the 30th, they're gonna go for a running back. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for a stud running back for the 30th and Sanders walks.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
That's-
shocked about that either. That's not a bad spot to take a running back, the end of the
Running
first
back.
round. That's not a bad spot.
Well, how's this sound? What if they get the running back, that real good running back, maybe in the second round,
Could be.
and Sanders signs a team-friendly deal and they got a 1-2 punch with the two of them? That you're talking about the kid from Texas, I think.
Oh, he's gonna be first rounder.
He'll be the-
The
yeah.
Bijan
so?
Robinson. No, he's
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 supposed to
in-
be like top 5, right?
yeah,
Brian?
Really?
yeah.
Top
He's
5
like the
pick? Really?
Oh, yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's the Texas's the offense. Without him, they cannot do anything.
Well, they got that wide receiver Worthy, who I think.
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
also
That's
gonna be
true.
a
Right,
first
you're
round
right. You're
pick.
right. You're right. You're right.
They got and that quarterback, who I think is going to be a great NFL player, that
Well,
Evers
next-
or
Well, Ewing something, right?
Ewing, Ewers or something. I
Ewers,
think
right?
is
Yeah.
his last
But
name.
next year, it's interesting.
With
Archie
Manning's-
Manning's son is coming in as an freshman, so we'll see.
Yeah,
what
but
happens
you
then.
know what'll happen? He'll redshirt his first year probably, and Ewers will apply for the draft. Ewers has an NFL arm, big time NFL arm.
Yeah.
So, but the biggest thing I noticed, and Will brought this up like at nauseum at the beginning of the year, is that there's a lot of really bad quarterback play in the NFL right now. If you look at all the quarterbacks that have these big time contracts, let's put Derek Carr in that equation now too. He's horrible. I
You know,
mean,
besides, before we go there, for me, the biggest surprise is Zach Wilson. When he came out of Utah, right? I mean, everybody thought he's going to be like, he's a project in progress, right? But they thought it's going to be a big time quarterback in the NFL. And I don't know what's going on in New York, man. That guy's like, he's going to be cut, they said, at the end of this year.
he's a distraction. I think they're going to try to trade him.
They said he's got a bad attitude.
Yeah, rotten attitude.
Yeah, he ripped
A la
people up
Wentz.
Yeah. Speaking of Wentz, it looks like he did come in at the end of the game for Washington and actually threw a touchdown pass.
But they lost though, right? Or they won?
Now they lost.
They lost.
Yeah.
Oh, he's very good in throwing touchdown in a losing game.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
They still announced a starter for this week.
Yeah, you're right. I saw that too.
Maybe they'll announce it tomorrow, him or Heineke.
Yeah.
Is Zach Wilson, is he the one that slept with his mom's
Yeah,
friend or
yeah,
something?
yeah.
No. His mom slept with someone that was
thought
like
it was
a player.
No, he slept with
No,
his
he
mom's
slept,
friend.
yeah.
His girlfriend broke
Oh, is that what it was?
his
Yeah, that's what I heard
girlfriend
too,
broke up
yeah.
with him because she caught him sleeping with his mom's best friend or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
jeez.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the guy is like completely like rotten person, obviously.
Yeah.
because-
You don't see Hurts doing anything like that. So,
No, I mean, imagine you're like the second overall pick, and second year they're going to cut you. I mean, you
That's
must
horrible.
be must be really a rotten person.
well, yeah, I wanted to say this though. Speaking of quarterbacks, it sounds like the relationship between Hurts and Minshew is really pretty good. They're always speaking very highly of one another. And I don't know if you heard on the broadcast the other day, Hurts said he would always like to give his opinion, like what he thinks that Minshew could be doing on certain plays, but he doesn't want to get involved unless he wants him to. You know what I'm saying? He'll only go down if he feels like it's something very important, but he likes to keep his distance the majority of the time because he knows that he needs that Minshew just needs to talk to his quarterback coach and his coordinator about certain plays. And then Minshew spoke very highly of Hurts too. And when they interviewed Minshew before the game during the week, he was just saying that he was having a blast here and he loves playing on his team. I don't know if he's just programmed to say that, but I think he really likes being here.
How many years does he have left on his contract? He's here another year, right?
No, he's not.
No, he's free agent,
No, he's
Is
a
he a
free
free
agent
agent?
after this year. But
Okay.
let me tell you something.
and his bus is for sale.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you something. I think that Howie Roseman is going to give him a nice offer to be the backup quarterback because Roseman and this quarterback factory, discussion. It's good to have more than one quarterback, which I believe 100%. I mean, where would we be if we didn't have, Minshew?
Yeah.
This
I
year.
think he would only consider it if he's not seeing any starting jobs anywhere else, which I think he's going to see a starting job somewhere.
Well,
agree.
starting job plus a big salary increase too.
Yeah,
Is he
there's
gonna
so
get
many
the big-
loser quarterbacks out there. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this too. I think that general managers are going to be more wary of giving these monster contracts to these quarterbacks anymore because, I mean, look at like Derek Carr, the
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. Oh, what a disaster! That's going to bring Denver back 3 years.
You know what? I'm surprised.
Maybe 5. That might
They
be
fired
5.
the head coach. The only guy who gets canned is the head coach.
Now
How
wait,
about
let
the
me
general
get this
manager
right.
who made the deal.
2
And
first-round picks,
They
2
lose all those
second-round
first-round
picks.
Yeah, like whoever.
2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, a 5th-round pick.
Yeah,
You
you
got
And-
third
can't
round
even.
pick too, right? And another
And-
third round pick.
You can't even start rebuilding for another 2 years.
And
'cause you
plus
don't have a
$240 million
first-round
contract.
pick. You
So-
don't
And the
have
guy
any
still has a
first-round
job?
Yeah.
I mean, and look at where the Arizona Cardinals are right now.
Yeah, that's not a bad contract.
I mean, there's a lot of bad situations because there's bad quarterback play, especially with quarterbacks that are bringing the house down salary wise. So I don't know. I think that Roseman's got a lot of big decisions to make. But the more I've had a chance to think about this, I think he really needs to spend time on both quarterbacks, signing both of them this year. Because, it's not like they grow on trees. Where's he going to get a really good experienced backup once Minshew leaves? It's not going to be that easy.
No.
He could
No.
try, but I don't see any way that Minshew's going to be here next year. I think he's definitely going to get an opportunity to start somewhere.
Yeah, at least half the teams they need a new quarterback.
I mean, I would love to have him, but I don't think there's anybody who's not going to get a starting job somewhere.
Yeah, so Denver's they lose their first round pick, which is top 3 right now.
It may end up being the first
But-
one because
Right.
Houston has what, 2 wins now? So
I think Denver's got the 3rd pick as of now, which you'll have to trade that to Seattle.
no, Seattle's got that pick.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yes, yeah, Seattle will get that pick, but Denver did get a first round pick from Miami back in the Chubb deal. So that's going to be a late pick, obviously, the Miami pick.
Not
but
maybe
still,
not
there's-
as late as you think because of the
Well,
way.
Miami's not going to
They're
make the
gonna miss
playoffs.
They're going to miss the
I don't
playoffs.
think they're going. I don't think they're making the playoffs, are they?
I think they're going to make it. They
They're
were
in
playing
right
for the
now.
division.
As of
They're
now,
still
they're
fighting to
in-
win the East, the
As
AFC.
of now, be the 25th pick.
Two is going to be out now though because he just got another.
Yeah, he's hurt. Yeah,
So-
Okay.
Wait a minute, they can't win the East. It's the Buffalo.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
they're-
That's right. I
they're-
forgot
they're-
about that.
they're
Yeah.
fighting
right
for a
now.
wild
They're the
card.
7th seed. They're the 7th seed right
Yeah.
now.
I'm going to throw you guys a question. Who's the luckiest team in the NFL right now?
The luckiest?
Yeah. The
San
luckiest.
Francisco. San
Tampa
Francisco.
Bay for being that shit division.
No, you're
No,
both
San
wrong.
Francisco.
You're
San
both
Francisco.
wrong. Who do you got, Will?
I have no idea.
Wait a minute. You guys are going to look. You guys are going to completely forget about the Minnesota Vikings with 3 losses. Are you kidding me?
They don't even scare me.
I mean, no, but I'm just saying they're the luckiest team in the NFL.
You,
right
you
now.
want luckiest team? Probably Jacksonville. They won a couple of games like on
Oh.
a fluke.
They're
Yeah,
playing
well-
really well though. They've won like 5 in a row. They were 2-6. Now I think they're 8-8 or 7-8.
They got a shot to
They're
win.
playing good.
They got a shot to win the AFC South, I think.
Yeah,
And they
they
end
should.
up with 10.
Yep.
They
Ten-
should win it.
the Titans have Dallas this week and the Jaguars in the final week of the season, and they don't have their starting quarterback. The
Yeah,
backup and the other quarterback, he's nowhere near ready to be an NFL quarterback.
I hope the Jags win the division. Got to root for Dougie P.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I am too.
He's got that team playing really well, and they're playing for him.
Yeah, they are. I can't remember. Did they win last week?
They did. They
Yeah,
won
they
last
beat.
week. Yeah,
Who did
they
they
won
beat?
last week again.
I can't recall who they beat.
I'm trying. It was a Thursday night game. Who the hell did they play? The Jets.
The
They
Jets.
beat
yeah,
the Jets
yeah,
in
the
New
Jets.
York
Okay.
on Thursday night.
Yeah, so they're getting it done. And remember, they should have beat Washington the first game of the year.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
what are they,
okay, yeah.
7-9 or?
7-8. 7-8. Both them. And
That's right,
Tennessee.
7. They should be 8-7. They should have
Right.
beat Washington the first game of
Right.
the season. So yeah, a lot of things I think are going to happen. I mean, Tampa Bay, they looked horrible again.
Yeah, they look terrible.
Well, the bottom line is this: he's not a head coach. That guy, he has never been a good head coach. He's a very good defense. I can't remember his name, but
Todd Bowles.
Todd
Bowles
Bowles, right?
has
Todd knows.
always been a good defensive coordinator. As a head coach, that's a different story. That's number one. Number two, Brady does not have anywhere near the offensive line that he had 2 years ago when they won the Super Bowl. So it's a different story. And the other thing is, Brady's kind of starting to play a little bit more like he is 46 years old. I mean, you need to give, even though he's a quick 3 or 5 step drop and get rid of the ball guy, he's struggling a little bit getting rid of the ball. And I think he's starting to show some chinks in the armor a little bit. So, and there's talk about him going to San Fran next year because that's
Yeah.
where he's from. I can't see that happening because Lance is the long-term quarterback there, you know?
Brady's been trying to go to San Fran for like a decade now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Yeah, so all right. So as far as the predictions are concerned,
Jimmy
some
won
re-
again. Jimmy.
Jimmy won again, and
He's a leader.
I had Dallas winning, but I did not even pick the game. I completely forgot, but I would have had Dallas winning. But I probably would have had Dallas winning by more than what Jimmy had them winning by. So, Jimmy, you have 6 wins now. I have 5. Vahe has 4. Well, I think you still have 1, maybe 2. 1. You still have 1. And I
One
won't say
for
it
first
anyway.
place.
Yeah.
All 3 of us, we should pick Saints this Sunday so that we'll
Well, has a
pick the
chance to
Eagles and
win.
you win.
Right.
I'm trying to stick with one.
So hold on a second. So, all right, Jimmy, since you won, give me a score for this week.
Eagles 37, Saints 13.
Bye.
Eagles 24, Saints 10.
Dude, really?
No, sorry. The Eagles, sorry. The Eagles 24, the Saints 10. Yeah, that's what I
24-10.
Yeah, that's what I said.
24.
Oh, you thought we were just teasing you, man. You thought we were gonna pick the
he's
Saints.
teasing, no, he's teasing you. He's
No,
teasing you.
Oh,
I
you're
was
gonna
gonna
take
have the exact same score.
Oh, here we go. I say the Eagles 40-7. I think the Eagles are going to just
That's what
destroy.
I think they're going to smoke them.
Yeah, and Will, what do you got?
I'm gonna say
Go Saints,
27.
man. If that's the way you're gonna win, because everybody else is picking the Eagles. Go Saints. What the hell?
Yeah, you're not to lose.
Eagles 27, Saints 13.
All right.
Well, me and you had the same differential. Did I say
well,
24-10, right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Me and you have the same differential.
He's going for the differential thing. That's the same as yours.
Because nobody's guessing the exact score, right?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Bahi, I did see you limbering up out there the other day. You look like you're getting ready to do some.
Yeah, and then
Those
I froze,
striders.
man.
Some 80-yard
it's unbelievable.
striders.
I mean, coming back to that Chicago game, it's unbelievable. I mean, to be able to play in that weather, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. I was outside for like 5 seconds, and I was already freezing.
Well, at our age, it's going to creep up on us right away. So,
But I mean, imagine being in that weather plus the wind. It's not just the weather, plus the wind, and throwing in that conditions. Man, they deserve every penny they get.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. All right. Any last minute comments before we get off the air here?
I hope next week when we're having this podcast, it's going to be all about the first seed and resting everybody and kicking everybody's ass in the playoffs.
Listen, this is what I'm going to make a not a prediction, but something I'd like to happen. If the Eagles win by the score the Vahe picks 24-10, I expect to see those 4 or 5 Armenian incredible athletes pictures on the wall behind you next week. So,
Well, actually, they say that the Saints defense is pretty good.
they
they're
are
like
good.
top
They
10.
are good.
They're top 10 defense. So
Dalton's just not going to throw for 300 yards and 5
I'm not talking about their
touchdowns.
side. I'm
Not-
talking about us being
Yeah.
scoring too many points. On
yeah,
that
that's
defense.
yeah, but remember the Eagles what they did to them last year. They ran them all over the place. And it's funny, it just seems like the Eagles are always playing them at home anymore. I think this might be 3 years in a row that they're
Yeah, I
playing
still
them.
go
I
back to
think it
that.
is.
You remember the second Super Bowl game? It wasn't. What was it? The NFC.
Yeah, when they
the
lost
divisional-
when they
the
lost to the
divisional
Rams
round.
because of that hit. Yeah,
No, but the Eagles lost to them the week before. And remember,
yeah.
who was that quarterback? I mean, the wide receiver. The ball went through his hands.
Oh,
He retired. He used to play for
Um,
Chicago.
yeah. Oh, Jenkins or
No, that wasn't Jenkins.
not Jenkins.
Don't you guys remember the?
He was out. In fact, the last year he played 2 years ago, he missed the entire season except for 1 or 2 games. He played great in the Super Bowl with
Yeah,
Foles.
I
Got a
mean,
touchdown.
because of him, we won the Super Bowl.
What's
And
his
next
name? I
year,
can't think of his name.
Torrey Smith.
No, the
No,
other
no.
receiver.
Don't you
No,
guys
I
remember the
don't-
game, the divisional
Will,
game that we played?
I can't think of his name right now. They got him from the Bears, Will.
Bears, yep.
He was Marshall's number 2.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he signed with the Eagles. He was the rat they said in the clubhouse. He used to leak all the information to the
Oh,
one.
He's the
Alshon
one-
Jeffrey.
Alshon Jeffrey.
Alshon,
Yeah,
that-
yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
that's it. Alshon Jeffrey. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
They said
believe
he
that
was the
he's the one
rat.
that leaked all the information about
Yeah.
Wentz, and it
Yeah.
turned out to be true anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
He's a
But-
snitch.
And they were and they were driving, and they thought. I mean, we thought that they're gonna win because it was like the last drive, and Foles was like in a groove,
Yeah.
and it was like a 20-yard line, and then the ball went through his hand.
I don't know if it was on the 20. I thought it was like on the 40, and he
It
dropped
was
it
not,
around
I
the
think it
30.
was on the 20. He's right. They were
Really?
in. they
Yeah,
were in-
yeah,
they
yep,
were right
yep.
And
there.
then weren't they were only behind by like 6 or 5, I
Yeah,
think.
they would have won.
Oh
the
yeah,
game.
yeah, they were gonna score it. I mean, they had the
Yeah.
momentum. They were gonna score.
Wow.
And it was very
And-
little time left in the game.
Yep.
It was
Yeah.
under 2 minutes, I think.
Yeah, that's a shame. Well, but we got a different year now. So
Alshon, that was it.
Alshon
Alshon
Jeffrey.
Jeffries, Yep.
All right, let's wrap this up. So that's another one in the books. Thanks everybody for watching and listening to Flying High with the Birds, Philadelphia Eagles talk. See ya.
See you guys.
All right, guys. Later.
Yeah.